My name is Ranjith. I come from far away in India, but I live nearby to Prague, which is Munich. But I think nearby is relative nowadays in the online world. So let me start away by telling you that, it's been 18 years since I came to Germany. And I would be somebody that people call as eingedeutscht. Eingedeutscht means, well integrated in a country. And I used to have an office in Munich in a place which was in the cellar, right? Now we had a fancy door which let in a bit of sunlight. And if our friends asked where we worked, we used to tell them, we have an office in the souterrain. See, souterrain is a French word for cellar. It sounds much better. And one thing we always loved was a bit of sunlight. See, I grew up with a lot of sunlight, but when I came to Germany, that's the first thing I started missing. So I took my curry and I went off to the nearby park. And my friend, my colleague, who's also eingedeutscht, he came along and he had a Leberkäse sandwich. It's basically a meatloaf sandwich in his hand. And both of us walked over to the park around the corner and went and sat down. See, in fact, it's there on the background. We went and sat in that bench. Now, normally you have kids playing around and you feel very safe. And I was eating my curry. I was halfway through my curry, right? And that's when I heard a woof. And I looked to my right and I saw a dog coming towards me. See, I come from India, and in India, we have street dogs all over the place. And I got up and stood with a bit of respect and a bit of fear too. And this dog did not stop with a woof. It ran all the way up and put its paws on me. I kept my curry all the way up there, so it moved up and gave me a big scratch. See, that's when intelligence struck, and I dropped my curry. And, the dog gave it a lick, looked at me and said, "This is just too spicy," and moved on. And it moved to my colleague. My colleague, he had a Leberkäse sandwich and he was intelligent enough to just drop it. The dog picked it, ate it, and was happy and strutted away back to its owner. And this is when the owner slowly walked over to us and said, the dog was just playing, and left even without a sorry. And that's when I was like horrified. I'd lost my curry, my friend, my sandwich, and there was this owner who just walked away. And on the way back, we saw another guy packing out his lunch, and we warned him of the dog. And he looked at my scratches and said, that is Personenschaden. You should call the police. I was wondering, what? You could call the police on something like this? So I did. I called the police. The police listened to me and said, what was the problem? I said, I just had a life-threatening situation. What was it? I said, a dog scratched me. And they were like, going to put the phone down. But then they just gave me a bit more of a year. And then they said, okay, we'll send the police over. It'll take a half an hour. And me, coming from India, I thought, if the police say half an hour, they're never going to come. But this is Germany. They came in 10 minutes. 2 policewomen and me, we walked up to this lady and we asked her about the case. And she had this dog, right? And her dog was starting to get impatient. So the dog just started barking loud and jumped. And when it jumped, it pulled the owner. And the owner hit a car and fell down. See, now you had 3 problems. You had a life-threatening situation with my scratches. You had a car which could have been scratched and a lady who could have been injured. And this is Germany, so they checked the car first, and the car was okay. The lady was okay too. And the police told me I had 2 ways to handle this. I could press charges or I could just talk to her. So I looked at the lady and told her, see, I don't want to press charges. All I want to do is eat my curry in peace in the park. And she said, okay, and she left. And one of the policewomen told me, she was a dog lover. And she told me, I might actually send animal protection over to her and see if she's capable of keeping her dog or not. I didn't know what to think of it at that point. I thanked the policewomen and they left. But then, in hindsight, I sometimes wonder, see, was it right of me to have called the police on a case like this? Was it right of a dog owner to not take care of their dog when they go eating other people's lunches? Will the police take away her dog? Will the lady come back to the park? I hope she does.